right, we're back with episode 3 of the Peach Pod, hosted by Protagonist Apparel, where we are unfiltered, unstoppable, and unapologetic. My name is Lexie Floor. As always, I'm hosting with
Amanda Congialdi,
and we're here to talk about all things women's tackle football. So last episode, we got a chance to sit down with Dom and talk a little bit about some football. We had a good time.
We did have a good time. She's our first guest that we've had on the show, and pretty good. I'd say pretty good first guest.
Yeah.
Big personality.
We're taking offers to sit on the show. So if you think that you want to sit down with us and talk about some stuff, DM us, send us a message, let us know.
I want to know, I want people to chime in who view this, and I want to know their top 5. I genuinely want to know unbiased top 5 women's football teams in the country. Doesn't matter league. I think it's an interesting debate, and there's not a right or wrong answer, I don't think.
Yeah, give us your top, 5?
Top 5
in the comments.
All of women's football.
Or top 3. I told you what I think. So
I want to.
I'm here to argue, I guess.
Yeah, because she stood on business. She doubled down last time on not having St. Louis on there. She meant business.
That tore you up.
Yeah.
You
it did.
And Texas.
It tears me up. So Dom talked a little bit about, how she got into football. I don't think everybody really knows your complete story of, how you got to where you're at now. I just think it's interesting because when you told me you were a 3rd or 4th string player, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when I first started, I got into women's tackle football because I loved sports and I love football. But I originally played volleyball my whole high school life, and then I did triathlons in college. I was on the triathlon club, so at the University of Utah. So,
damn, I didn't know that. Triathlon?
Yeah,
you were riding bikes?
Yeah, I was swimming, riding bikes, and running in that order. But I loved that shit. It was kind of scary sometimes. You're out there in the open water and you put your head underwater and you can't see anything. So, but it's humbling. It's meditative.
Yeah.
But you do a lot of stuff alone, and that's pretty much the exact opposite of tackle football. You're with your team all of the time, and it's a lot of people.
Yep. And
also, volleyball is 100% a non-contact sport. It's if you contact the other team, it's a penalty. So I came from no contact and then limited team.
How do you contact
time.
the other team though? Do you go over there and hit them?
Well, you can touch them over the top of the net, but if you hit them underneath the net, if your foot touches their foot or whatever, then that's a penalty.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
From what I can remember, it's been a second. But I actually went to the Junior Olympics for volleyball, and I think that's where I was I really like eyeball. Hand-eye tracking coordination. I think that's where that started.
I didn't know you went to the Junior Olympics for volleyball. Yeah. You don't even look like a volleyball player.
I was
you were a little something in your heyday.
I'm trying to get buff.
I used to be something.
I'm getting fluffy, but yeah, I love volleyball, and I didn't play it in college, and so I was kind of looking for a sport, and then I've always wanted to play football. I wanted to play powder puff. I wanted to tackle. I wanted to wear pads, mostly because my brother was doing it when I was younger, and I watched him play, and I went to his games, and I just thought it was cool. But yeah, I even put on his helmet a couple times. His head was bigger than mine, so it didn't really fit, and it smelled. The boys stink. To this day, they don't. The women tackle team doesn't smell as bad as the boys tackle team, but
it doesn't say a lot.
Yeah. So once I heard about the Utah Falcons, originally the Utah Jinx. Once I heard about them, they were having tryouts. I actually came halfway, maybe not halfway through the season, but they had played a couple games when I got there, and I was I'll play anything. I want to be wide receiver, but I started as DB. And our first season, we went to the championships. We actually played Pittsburgh.
I was at that game.
Oh, you were at that game?
I was.
Wow.
I was playing with the Philadelphia Firebirds. I was there. Yeah.
So we were there.
I couldn't tell you were there because you guys just ran the triple option every time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't even touch the field. So I was the 3rd string, and they were we need, somebody to go out in the field. And I was just I don't know. I was not good. I was a really shitty, DB and wide receiver. I don't think I was good at all. I mean, I had like, some natural talent that was flowing over from other sports, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know what a safety was until like the second year I was playing. But then I was like, if I'm going to do this, I might as well just give it my all, because I'm a very much like whole ass person. I'm not going to half-ass anything, So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to just do it all the way. So I just practiced my ass off. I got with a bunch of quarterbacks and just ran fades for like hours.
What's your favorite route?
Yeah, it's my
go
favorite
route.
Yeah.
Just throw it up.
Just throw
me a go. What do you want to run? Go.
Fade.
Yeah. Fade. Yay.
Just give me a pango.
My arm hurts, but okay. 45 fades later. We gonna run. Fade.
I'm just trying to get it right.
Just trying to get it right. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was interesting that you were a bum.
Yeah, I mean, I started out as a bum, and you know what? That just shows you if you
You're
you
a bum
can
on the
start
street.
anywhere, and you can just work your ass off. Hard work pays off for sure.
I believe
work
you
over
worked
talent.
hard, because when we were teammates for a couple years, you were one of the harder working, super work ethic, teammates I've ever had. So I believe that. I mean, it's hard. I wish I would have seen bum Lexie, because it's hard to, think about that. It's hard to think about like how bad you were, if you were that bad, like how you make it seem. Because I only know good Lexie. But so obviously at some point you were underrated. My question is, do you still think you were an underrated receiver? Do you think you're underrated?
I think that some people underrate me. Yeah, I think so. I think
hot seat. Tough question.
That is a tough question,
Let it
because
out.
I mean, I really don't know what other people think, but it seems to me like I have a lot to give to a team. I have a lot to give to an offense. I think that I'm not at my peak yet. I feel like I can get better. There's still some things I want to work on. I feel like I'm always learning. I'm still watching like the NFL or other girl, like women's tackle football teams play, and I'm like, oh, that was a cool move, or that was a cool juke, or
You think you're underrated?
So I think that I hold myself, because I feel like I know that I can do more and I can do better. So when people are like, oh, you've done this, and I'm like, but I could do this, so I think that if I'm underrated, it's because I feel like I can still do more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to say that, but
I can still do more.
like, you saw that, but like, watch this shit, like, watch what I'm about to do. I haven't done it yet, but that's my sentiment. Do you think you're a underrated quarterback?
I think some people, yeah. I mean, I enjoy the underdog role.
Me too.
Where, I've gone through a lot of adversity in my career, where it's like it's hard to battle and perform. You have a weak, there's a weak position group on the offensive side of the ball, then it falls on the quarterback. And it makes it hard. And so, like, not everybody can see what the behind the scenes looks like with any given team, right? Like, it's not all about what's, on the surface of production and all that. Obviously, stats, I do think are subjective, okay? And contrary to what, the comparison I made with WFA and WNFC, because I feel like you can throw a 5-yard pass, and if you have great athletes on your team, they can take it 40 yards, 50 yards, right? And it looks good on the quarterback. But I feel like stats do have something to do with it. And I feel like I've been consistent as a quarterback, but I haven't won that championship. And because I haven't won that championship as a quarterback, I feel like I will never really get the full respect as a quarterback, So it is what it is. I understand it. Everything runs through a quarterback. So I would say I feel like I'm underrated, but it's a motivating factor for sure.
Yeah, and I think that brings up another point. I want your opinion. What do you think makes a great team? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the individual players, how talented they are, or is it the culture?
I think it all ties in together, because the coaching creates the culture, but the players have to maintain it. I think that the coaching sets the standard of what the culture should be like, with the discipline, whatever's in the contract, holding players to that contract, right? In terms of how they decide to represent the team, whether that be, through social media, right? Because we know there's a lot of people out there who don't act right on social media. I talk a lot, but I still represent my team fine on social media, for the record. But that type of stuff. So, like, does the ownership and coaches hold their players accountable? And do the leaders on the team help maintain that culture, that positive culture that makes it attractive for other new players to come and play? But for me, I mean, if I had to say one answer, it would be the coaching.
Really?
I feel like you're different.
I believe that it's the culture. And I mean, I say that because you can have a culture and you can have some coaches come in, and then if they don't fit with the culture,
right,
they got to leave. So, but if they do, then they can stay. And if they don't, but they want to change, then they can fit with the culture. But I think that the culture has to shape a team, and everything else has to fit around that.
But who created that culture originally?
I mean, it may have started with the coaches, but it may have started with the players. It
could have started with players.
If a player has a strong, presence, then they can create a culture. I think that like work ethic creates a culture. I think that people who come in and they want it, that creates a culture. People who can stand up and talk to a team, and like motivate them, that creates an essence of a culture. So I don't think it has to be coaches, but if I had to rate it, I would say it would be culture, coaches, and then team, like, individual players, how good they are. Because I have seen teams, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen some teams who don't have any good players. I mean, they have good players, but no, like, immediately standout players, and they are dominating. And this may have been a team in the past, so I'm not going to say who it is, but
can you just... Okay.
But I'm saying that they had a good culture and they were dominating. And they even had like kind of not culture, coaches that didn't really fit with the culture, but they were still dominating because their culture was so dominant. So I don't know. I think let us know in the comments what you think. But I think that it's
coaching, culture, or the team. If you've watched the first 2 episodes, we like to play games. So we have a fun, and we like to make it football edition. We have a fun game of Would You Rather. Would you rather be the star of a bad team or average player on an elite team?
Average player on an elite team.
I would choose the same. Average player on an elite team.
Because you still have growth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can still learn from other players, and if they're better, then that's just an opportunity for you to get better.
When I came to the Divas in 2016, when I was in Philly, before I came there, I felt like I was a big fish in a small pond. And when I came to the Divas, I felt like I was a small fish in a big pond because there were so many great players, and I felt so average. But we won a championship. So I also would agree.
Yeah, but I do have to add that I wouldn't just be a bench warmer on a team to get a ring. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to join a good team because they're going to win a ring.
I didn't ride the bench, though. I would say I didn't ride the bench.
Like, I would rather be a star on a team and then build up the rest of the team if that's how that's going to work. But, like, I'm not just going to join the best team to get a ring.
Some people team hop to get a ring, and I would have done that years ago. I want to be, like, bloody
and dirty by the end of the championship game. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be putting in the work. So...
yeah.
It's not me.
Look like you just got done World War VIII.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather ensure overtime or risk losing and win in regulation? Losing or winning in regulation?
Wait, say it again.
Would you rather ensure overtime or risk losing and winning in regulation? So, in other words, would you rather kick the extra point or go for 2 to win the game?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's better. You should have just said that. I don't know. I'm kind of ballsy when it comes to football. If I felt like if I had confidence in our short game, I would just go for 2.
You have confidence in you, so.
But if I was like, we need to go another round with this team, I guess it depends, then I would be like, just kick it. But my immediate response is just go for 2.
Yeah.
Because I believe in, that short route. I believe in those shorts. Like that back shoulder.
I was going to say the back shoulder fade.
Yeah, that back shoulder fade. Yeah, that was beautiful.
I also would go for 2. If we would have scored in our, we were at the 2-yard line against Boston in playoffs this past year, and we were down by 7 with under 2 minutes to go. And if we were going to score, if we scored, we were going to go for 2 to win a game. And I was all on board for that. And
it makes it more fun.
Makes it more fun and intense. But as a quarterback, boy, that's so much pressure. So much pressure. But yeah, I'm a risk taker. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go big or go home. All right. Would you rather silence a crowd or make a big play and have the crowd erupt?
What do you mean silence a crowd?
Like if you were away. Like, remember Pittsburgh with the walk-off 2019? And
that was fun.
We were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Last play of the game, and we were away, and they were all loud. And
yeah, that was nice. But I do like loud crowds. Like when you catch a really long
I knew you were going
pass,
to choose that.
And then everyone's like, yeah.
It's music to your ears.
You can just hear them, and you're like, just like
does it make you run faster?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes me feel like I run faster. I don't know if I actually do, but.
So it's funny because I think I'd rather silence the crowd. Because I experienced it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, the 2019 walk-off with against Pittsburgh when we were away, there was 14 seconds left. We were 66 yards away. We were down by 1. We had 1 timeout. Basically broke a couple tackles, threw the ball downfield, and we ended up winning that game, and they got quiet, so quiet, and
yeah, that was a
part of that. So it's
that would have been shitty to be on the other side, like you think that you're winning this whole time, and then at the very last, yeah.
So I would rather silence the crowd.
Yeah.
Again, that's the underdog mentality.
And for the record, I'm just gonna roll this play, but I didn't do a block in the back.
You didn't block in the back. You blocked her shoulder.
I ran down with Trina. No, I hit her in the chest. She fell sideways. And I don't know who that was, but I think that you gave up. I pushed you hard, but I mean, I didn't have to fall sideways. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a block in the back.
It wasn't a block in the back.
Commentators screaming block in the back. The players were, after the game, were saying, by the way, that was a block in the back. I'm like, by the way, it wasn't.
It was not. I hit her in the numbers, and I remember clearly because I was like, I will not going to jeopardize this at all. Because I hit her right in the chest, and she just.
Had that happened, Lexie would have been cut, and she would have never had a story with the Divas. All right, would you rather coach women's football or in the NFL?
I don't know. I think that I would rather coach women's football.
Yeah.
Because that holds such a special place in my heart. Like, I do love football in general, but when you're an underdog in a sport and women's tackle football has been around for 30 years.
More than that.
And we have not gotten much traction. I mean, we have definitely come a long way, but we're not even near getting paid. Or, I mean, we might be, I don't know now, but we're not getting paid millions of dollars anytime soon, I don't think. So in 30 plus years, I don't think we've gained that much enough respect for how hard people play and how much time they put in and how much of their summer they give up, So, I mean, women's tackle football it's the underdogs. I would rather coach for women. Fair.
I also would rather coach women. I don't want to put in 90 hours a week in the NFL. I can't. Sure. Do I have the ability to mentor younger men who come to play in the NFL? Sure. I think to some degree they come out of college, but I feel like I would have more of an impact on pushing the women's game forward to be able to coach women. So that's hands down. I know there are so many players who are just like want to go to the women's NFL forum and they want to coach the NFL, which is cool. Like, I'm sure that's a great experience. You could bring back what you learned to the women's game, but that's about it. Like, I wouldn't want to stay in there permanently. Too many hours, honestly. So, okay. Would you rather be, we kind of talked about this a little bit. Would you rather be an elite player or an underdog player?
Oh, an underdog player.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I came
Both.
onto the team in 2019,
What's the record?
I was
Double it.
yeah, double that. When I came onto the team in 2019, that's what I said. You were like, how many points are you going to score or something? How many yards are you going to get this season? I was like, what's the record? Double that.
Like, okay, not gonna happen.
I mean, I was just
Yeah.
fucking around, but I don't know. I think that it's fun to have kind of like your own self, like a little ego. You know, it's fun to have like hold yourself in a high standard. You know.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both. You know, I'd rather like I feel like I'm a little bit of both. I feel like I've proven myself as a player, but I still feel like I'm just this underdog because I haven't won a ring. So, you know, if the underdog keeps me going, keeps me hungry, keeps me playing, because that's really what keeps me playing. After it's my 15th season right now, that I'm going into, and I'm just like, this championship is just evasive right now. Then we're gonna keep this underdog mentality. So,
I agree with that.
Would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary player?
Player.
Really?
Yeah. I'd rather be a legendary player.
That's interesting.
I mean, both are equally cool,
Right.
but I mean, you'd rather be a coach?
I'd rather be a legendary coach.
Why?
I do. Because I just feel like there's so many people who you can make legendary.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can, if I'm a legendary coach, I am touching so many people and I'm impacting them and I am, you know, I'm preparing them for the future and they can prepare others, you know, others that come after them. But it would suck to not be a legendary player. But but I honestly would be rather
I just
be
really
a
like playing.
legendary coach. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love playing more than I like coaching. That's probably why I say that. But I mean, that's a good answer.
Well, we know chapter 2 for me is going to be to try and be a coach.
I see that.
We'll see if we can be legendary. All right. Would you rather coach a game wearing a suit or a polo?
Probably a suit. I just don't like polos at all.
With a tie?
Yeah, with a tie.
I'd rather coach with a polo. No surprise, probably to anybody who knows me. I would rather wear a polo than a suit.
Yeah, well, I think that comes from me working on set in corporate America, and when we're usually there, we're wearing black polos, and it just makes me feel like, people, and it may not be true, but I feel like people look down on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd rather be wearing a suit.
that's that underdog mentality.
That's my own
Wherever she goes,
thing, I guess.
people look down on me.
No.
I'm an underdog in corporate America.
You know, we're like the blue collar of corporate America, kind of.
Blue collar.
You know, the AV team.
That doesn't exist. Not this day and age. All right, this is a tough one. Would you rather play in the first 3 quarters or only the fourth quarter? Decisions.
I don't know. I mean, I would say the first 3.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, I'd like to get my team in a good position and then just watch everybody do their thing, you know?
I think they're both tough. Well, as a quarterback, there's one of 2 reasons why you are going to play in the first 3 quarters. Either your team is getting their ass spanked and you're sitting out the fourth quarter, or you're spanking the ass and you're sitting out the fourth quarter. I have been on both ends of the spectrum where I played the first 3 quarters, sat out the fourth quarter. That's when we were winning. And I've also, you know, the year that, 2022, you and I played when we played Tampa. I didn't start the first 3 quarters. Didn't play the first 3 quarters. I played 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left in the game. We were down by a couple points. I think the second play, we had a 96-yard touchdown. It ended up winning the game against Tampa, right? I didn't like being in that situation, though. As exciting as it was for everybody else, I did not like being this relief quarterback. You know, like being in there, like, I'm not going to say mop-up duty because it wasn't like a blowout, but I didn't like being in that position because it's so much more pressure on you to kind of like save the game. But 2, it's like, you know, you didn't get any momentum at that point. You know, you're basically just fresh out of throwing the ball and warming up. I'd rather play the first 3 quarters because It was awful to play a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter and try and win a game as a quarterback. Now, again, it might be different as a receiver. Lexie guy, I got 5 touchdowns. I'm good. I don't need the fourth quarter.
I just like to be, I like to put the team in a good position and then watch other people celebrate. I'm definitely not like the trying to hog the touchdowns kind of person, Like I'll freely.
Yeah, I know.
I think that at least in my first year with the Divas, I was getting us to the the goal line, and then most of the time was taken out.
You weren't taken out.
I mean, I was like just switched.
Your first year with the Divas, Lexie?
Yeah.
So in 2019, your first year, you led us in receiving yards. Casey led us in touchdowns, and I think Trina led us in receptions.
Okay.
So we had different categories. We had a different leader in every category, which is awesome. Like, that was the most talented.
That was a fun year.
Squad I had ever been around in offense. But you got your share. You got your share.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I had fun. I'm just not trying to hog the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like I've never been that kind of a player. Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I just want to play.
Except in flag.
I just want to have fun.
All right, I have a bonus question because this is a tough question. At least I think it's a tough question. Would you rather date someone who doesn't like dogs or doesn't like football?
That's a really tough question.
That's a really tough question.
I don't know.
We're both also dog lovers in every sense of the way.
I don't know. What's your answer for this?
I'd rather date someone who doesn't like football. It's hard. But, so, I mean, have you ever experienced somebody who, in that dilemma where they didn't like dogs or football?
Yeah, I did date someone that didn't like football as much as I like football.
Yeah.
And called it a hobby, like a stupid hobby. Immature hobby, I think was the word. And so that was really stupid. I didn't like that as much as, but I couldn't even imagine dating someone who doesn't like dogs. So, yeah, it would have to be doesn't like football.
So we are going to do a segment of we listen and we don't judge. Ready?
Yeah.
We listen.
We listen and we don't judge. Oh, I'm going first. Okay. I mean, it took me a while to get used to your left-handed throws.
Why would I judge you for that?
Because I acted like it didn't.
Oh. Because it spun differently?
Yeah.
Spun?
It spins.
Opposite?
Backwards, yeah.
Was it because of the velocity?
Oh, and that. Yeah.
They weren't lobbed.
Every time you hit me in the titty, it was I could definitely tell.
It's funny because that's always the aiming point, so I'm glad that it got there.
Yeah.
Like I left a mark. Pierced it. We listen.
We listen and we don't judge.
Oh
my God.
I used to try peeing while standing up, hovering over the toilet until I was like 10 years old. I would just pee as I was standing up because I just. Good one. Yeah, I was.
Like, how would you stand over it?
I hovered over it. Like, I was facing towards the wall. So, not your typical, you're facing outward. I was facing inward. And I would just.
Squeeze your legs together?
No, I would open them. Get down almost close to, like, it's close to the seat. And I would squat, but not be on it. I would just,
Until you were like 10?
I did it for a while. And it has nothing to do with me not wishing I was a female or anything like that. I just wanted to try a different way of peeing. So it's kind of awkward.
All right. All right, ready?
We listen and we don't judge.
Mine are mostly about you and football. So
okay. It's okay.
I have once described you in a conversation setting as the most unathletic athletic person I know.
What? Can you explain?
I just don't think that like you stretch and or like drink enough water, but you still get the job done, and so it doesn't even matter.
Let me get my athletic posture right, because I don't know how to handle that part. That's fair. I don't disagree, for the record. We listen and we don't judge.
I don't like how you throw digs.
What? You're just going to come come out and don't like how I throw digs? Oh,
Like half of the time, because I don't think that you care enough about my safety when you're throwing them. I mean, I agree that you see that the field is open.
Yeah, there's a big gap
but
there.
Someone is definitely running towards me at full speed.
I see green grass as soon as you cut, and I throw you to the green grass.
And when I cut, I also see it, and I'm like, it's coming.
They're coming. They're coming.
They're coming, and the ball is coming.
So you don't like it all the way I throw digs?
No, no. I mean, like I 50% of the time.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me because you've refused to run digs and flag. You're like, I don't want to run a dig. I don't care. I run whatever thing.
It's because my face isn't covered. I'm okay with it in tackle because nobody's gonna like break my face, but you never know in flag that, you gotta. I suggest flag wears like a little helmet.
Don't be soft.
But not the. I mean, those are cool or whatever. Those work, I think. But like, I'm trying to cover my face.
Patent one. Since you're an entrepreneur, patent a helmet, and we'll all try it.
I will.
Protagonist helmet.
I mean,
first ever.
If one person has to wear it, other people do because you don't want to hit someone's face with a helmet.
True story.
So.
Well, we listen and we don't judge. Okay. I have a poetry book from a long time ago. I actually still write poetry. And I actually have a diary from 2002 when I was 10. And I don't call it a diary, but I have an adult journal. And I may have written about you a time or two when you were being a bitch. I may have cursed you out in my journal, my adult journal.
Would you ever let me read it?
Yeah, I would let you read it.
Wow. You bitched about me in your journal.
I may or may not have given her an earful when Lexie's being a bitch.
I probably deserved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
She probably deserved it. But hey, we listen and we don't judge.
That one time that you were in Utah and you lost a bet and I told you that you had to climb a tree and then go like hoo hoo ah and you fell out and scraped your arm.
Awful.
I could see that you were in a lot of pain, but I thought it was so funny.
That was one of the worst. That was probably the worst scrape I ever had in my life. And Lexie,
it ripped your shirt.
It ripped my shirt. I had a long sleeve shirt.
It was all bruised.
Weren't we like intoxicated, or didn't we have some drinks in us? And she wanted me to climb a damn tree because I lost the bet. And I think it was pool. I think we played pool.
Oh, it was. You lost a pool, yeah.
And of all things you want me to do is climb a tree when I had some drinks in me. I don't know why I even agreed to that. But that hurt. And you did laugh, and you took videos, and you took a picture, and I still remember how it felt.
I still have that video.
Yeah.
And so sorry about that.
I still remember how it felt. It didn't feel good.
But we listen and we don't judge.
No, we don't judge. We don't judge. When I attended Catholic school from 4th to 6th grade, I was never baptized, but I still went up to get Holy Communion during the church ceremonies because I like the way the communion tastes.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. If you're Catholic.
Is it wine? The wine?
I did taste the wine. I did taste Jesus' blood.
I grew up Greek Orthodox, and it was always wine.
Oh, yeah, I had both.
Wine and the bread.
Yeah. The bread and the bread and the communion.
I mean, I'm sure there's some logical explanation behind it, or like some religious explanation behind it, but I don't understand. They feed everyone off of one spoon. That's like a super spreader event.
What spoon?
Oh, I mean, we did it on a spoon.
Is that how the Mormons do it?
No, that's how the Greek Orthodox do it.
Never had a spoon.
A gold chalice with a gold spoon, and they just feed everybody. I mean, I've heard that gold is like an antibacterial or something, like, but they feed everybody off of one spoon. I don't know. In this day and COVID age, I just don't know if that's going to still be a thing. I haven't been to church for a while, so
they would hand feed me the communion, be like this. I forget what they said.
I mean, they hand fed me, but from a spoon.
Yeah, I know they hand fed me the communion with their finger their pointer and their thumb. They had the communion. It was a circle.
Oh yeah, the wafers. Yeah, I don't. Well,
That's how they would
did you
do
drink
it.
the wine? Is it in like a little cup? You just drink your own wine?
I don't remember.
Oh.
But I know that I shouldn't have been up there in the first place. And, you know, I was a rebel then. And I'm a rebel now.
Still a rebel.
Just kidding. So, as we're nearing the end of this, we do have a couple of questions that came through. And we have a wheel of fortune, you know, if you will, that we're going to spin. You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let me see if I can get a good one.
If you can play with any player, who would it be?
Like on a team?
Yeah, play with them.
That's a good question. I think that it would be. I'm trying not to be obvious with it. I never got to play with Ashley, was it not?
It's a good one.
And so I don't know how she plays because I've never seen it. I've never watched film or anything.
Yeah, she was
In
beast.
those years, but I also I did get to play with Jana, so I know what that's like.
Yeah.
But like I would have really liked to play with as a quarterback, Hamlin.
Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
Allie Smart.
I did get some passes from Lisa Horton, Team USA.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I've always heard about her, and she's always been a legend. So I was like, can you just throw me a go route?
Throw me a go, a fade, and then 45 more.
Yeah. And so, those are my top, probably. Yeah.
They're good ones.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks and one receiver. Can't go wrong with that. Let's do this. Oh, all right. Let's go a little more. All right. So this is what must change to make the player experience in women's football better. I think a lot. I don't think there's any central one thing that must change and make the experience better. If I had to pick one thing, I would say the coaching. I've been around a long time. I've come to know a lot of organizations, a lot of different coaches I've met on my team, different teams, different leagues. And I just feel like overall the coaching is not strong enough in women's football, and that's because, we can't afford to pay them. So we can't afford to pay good quality coaches to take them away from whatever other job they're doing to get paid to do. So if I had to say one central thing, I don't think it's one, but I'd say coaching is definitely a big part of it. Coaching is better than our games elevated. Better products on the field.
I would love to see, and I know it's been done before with like Worlds, but I would love to see a big camp.
Yeah.
Of women tackle football players to just come and just play for
that was fun.
Like a weekend or a week or something, and just
Women's World Games.
Yeah, World Games. Yeah, I didn't ever get to go to that.
I was going to ask you. I don't think
but maybe that's like where my FOMO is coming out. Like I wish that I had gone to that because I love going to like those types of camps, and I tried to play in like the Hall of Fame game, and I tried to go to so many different things like AFE, and I never played for Team United, but I would if that's still an option.
You trying to tell us you're coming back to the WFA? Because it's WFA only, man.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's. I mean, even alumni. I don't know.
No.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't want to play in that anyway. So.
Haters gonna hate. We don't want you.
So, but yeah, I mean, I would love to play on like any like of those teams that get other groups from other teams together and just have and play. But I think a massive camp once a year would be awesome.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work, a lot of volunteers.
In both leagues or any league or whatever. But yeah, it would take a lot of work.
Agreed. Spin to win.
You gotta tell me what it is. Favorite
on field memory of us.
Oh. I mean, my all-time favorite is probably when you threw me my first
teddy.
Yeah, it was a wheel route.
Yeah.
I ran a wheel route. And I remember thinking, like, I do not want to drop this. So I, like, jumped up backwards to, like, make sure I could look at it as I was catching it. Well, I made it more dramatic than it probably could have been, but I just wanted to make sure I was going to catch that because no one was around me. And I knew I was going to make a touchdown.
Yeah. No better team to score our first touchdown than Boston.
Yeah. At the St. James.
At the St. James, first time we were indoors.
It was brand new. It was brand new, beautiful facility.
Yeah.
That was a dream come
Big
true.
crowd.
That was my favorite. Yeah, it was,
Big
and
crowd
that was
that
a crowd erupting moment. That was
awesome. That was the birth of Lexie. In my opinion, that game was the birth of Lexie being on the map because she couldn't be on the map with Utah. No offense to Utah, right? They didn't run enough. They didn't pass enough.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was definitely.
You had like 160 something yards and 3 touchdowns that game. Yes, I remember.
It's just crazy that you remember the yardage and stuff. No, I mean that was a really fun game.
Yeah.
I mean, you scrambled to the right and then you had to roll back to the left and then you just threw it and I was like, this is it. I knew as it left her hands. I was like, well, the very first thing I thought was she threw it at me, and then I looked back and I was like, oh, she had to scramble. That's all I knew.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
one of my favorites too. Definitely one of my favorites. Let's see. What's your favorite play?
Like play or like
play.
Combo route?
Favorite play.
Okay.
Like play concept. I'm a deep thrower. I like deep routes. So I like the post wheel concept, especially if it's cover 1 or cover 2. Honestly, I don't really care what coverage it is. You can throw it against any defense. So
if you want to get your question on the board, on the spin board, just hit us up, let us know, and we'll put it up on here. We'll answer these.
Yep. You can either comment your question, message your question. That is it for this episode. Stay tuned for other exciting guests that we're going to have on the show. Again, we would definitely love to have you on the show. You can call in or we can have you here in studio.
So that's it for this episode of the Peach Pod. Subscribe, like, and share so that we can promote women's tackle football or women's sports in general. We're always sponsored by Protagonist Apparel, owned by a female athlete. If you want, check out that website at www.protagonistapparel.com. It's protagonist with a Y. Until next time, keep your pads low and your game high.
This is just 2 Peaches in a Pod signing off.